Hello and thanks for joining us. I am Isabel Masozera. This is what we have coming up. Officials who have presented their letters of credence to President Paul Kagame say that they are committed to strengthening cooperation between their respective organizations and countries with Rwanda, with long-term development being the ultimate goal. And the First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, has urged young men and women attending the ongoing Youth Connect Summit here in Kigali to play an active role in removing the major obstacles that exist on the continent. This is RwandaTV News, top of our edition. Officials who have presented their letters of credence to His Excellency President Paul Kagame on Friday say they are committed to strengthening cooperation between their respective organizations as well as countries with Rwanda, with long-term development as the ultimate goal. We have the details.
Among those to present his credentials to the Rwandan head of state was the new UN resident coordinator in the country.
My promise to the government and the people of Rwanda is that you will find a United Nations system that is humble, that is a companion, that follows behind the leadership of the government and the people, that supports the national transformation agenda. Because don't forget, I'm also an African, so I'm personally invested in the success of Rwanda. If Rwanda succeeds, it becomes a wonderful case for the rest of Africa, and it means that Africa will succeed. So that's my agenda for the 5 years that I'm going to spend in this country.
Another was the new EU ambassador in Rwanda.
The European Union is accompanying Rwanda's national transformation strategy. So we are here working on building, supporting education and job creation for youth in the digital age. We are here also to support the Green Deal and sustainable agriculture in the country. And we are here to support also political and economic governance. And we will be most pleased to continue expanding the trade and the investment from the European Union here in Rwanda.
The new ambassador of the Kingdom of Denmark to Rwanda, with residence in Kampala, also presented her letter of credence on Friday.
Now, moving on, the First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, has urged the youth who are men and women that are attending the Youth Connect Summit here in Kigali to play an active role in removing major obstacles that still exist on the continent that have been preventing youth from helping Africa to attain her goals.
On day 2 of the Youth Connect Summit currently taking place here in Kigali, discussions focused on investment opportunities in Africa's agricultural sector for young people, the importance of good mental health among the continent's youth, and their need to learn of reproductive health.
Yeah, Youth Connect has taught me that we must believe in ourselves as Africans. It had made me to realize that Europeans need us more than we need them. Basically, because we have everything it takes to be independent and to do our own things. I've also seen that Africans are united. In fact, they are starting to smell the coffee. They are starting to come together. They are starting to support one another. And
this is a big platform. Seeing youths from all over the country convey here in Rwanda, Kigali, is something that is highly commendable, and I commend them for that. I think it's a very good one. It's a very great platform. Imagine meeting different youths, sharing ideas, coming together and see how we can move Africa forward. It's a very good one and highly commendable.
So super glad that I'm here. First time visiting Rwanda. Not only about the summit itself. The country is beautiful, filled up with all blessings, peaceful people. Coming in right here, I have learned a lot. I'm an entrepreneur, and with great ability that this one here really motivated me.
Addressing the more than 9,000 young men and women from 30 African countries, the First Lady of Rwanda urged for more efforts geared towards the removal of many obstacles Africa's youth face when it comes to development, something organizations like the Imbuto Foundation have been doing for many years.
Our foundation's family planning campaigns have reached over 600,000 Rwandans. Our adolescent sexual reproductive health and HIV care and prevention services have catered for over 300,000 Rwandans. and 75.5% of pregnant teens in our area of intervention have been counseled and provided with support to reintegrate into their societies and reconcile with their families. Imbuto chooses to invest in youth with time, effort, and yes, financial resources. We are pleased to have now provided seed funding for 11 organizations in the field of mental health and adolescent sexual and reproductive health. We actively encourage practices which cater to your overall wellness and therefore your mental well-being.
Her Excellency Jeanette Kagame also stressed that Africa's young people must be assisted if the continent is to attain its goals.
The Africa we want is one led by healthy, ambitious, empowered, creative, innovative, educated youth. So to get to this dream state, we must look at the full developmental picture, leaving no problem unattended. I applaud Youth Connect Africa Summit and all its strong partners for providing such a lively platform for conversations and sculpting cornerstones for a united youth in the common goal towards Africa's progress.
The 2022 Youth Connect Africa Summit will end on Saturday.
And moving on, the president of Rwanda's Senate has received a Burundian delegation that is in the country attending the 145th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union. The delegation is led by the country's Senate's second vice president, and discussions between both sides focused on strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries.
President wa Sena w'u Rwanda
We have just met with the Rwandan Senate President as part of our efforts to strengthen cooperation between our two parliaments. Rwanda and Burundi are sister countries, and our people do not need translators to understand each other. Even though we have different languages, they are so similar we understand each other with no problems. Our borders are open to each other, and our peoples intermarry and live on either side of our borders for different reasons, including those to do with work. Our discussions therefore focused on how people can benefit from the relations between the two countries. We found those relations to be good, even though in recent years there had been a few problems, but they have now been resolved. The fact is, we will continue to need each other as neighbors, which is why both nations should ensure that nothing seeking to destabilize them should originate from either side, nor should either Rwanda or Burundi fail to warn the other of any danger.
The Parliament of Rwanda is currently hosting the 145th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union IPU in Kigali. The Assembly convened more than 1,200 delegates, including speakers and deputy speakers of Parliament, under the theme Gender Equality and Gender-Sensitive Parliaments as Drivers of Change for a More Resilient and Peaceful World. South Africa's Speaker of Parliament joined me as we engaged in a dialogue about the trajectory of events. I started by asking her what her key highlights of the assembly were.
Well, let me start with Rwanda, your country, a beautiful country, and congratulate you for the work which the people of Rwanda have done in this beautiful city. In my life, I have never seen such a clean country. And I think it's something which we need to congratulate you for, but also affirm you so that your people, when they are listening, can do even more, so that they feel that they are being encouraged, they are being supported, they are being affirmed for the good which you are doing in your country. Taking into consideration the fact that this is a country which comes from a genocide.
The attendance from the female MPs at members of parliament at this particular assembly was lower than the previous conference. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
even the theme itself for this conference, it talks to gender equality, it talks to gender mainstreaming, it talks to meaningful participation of women in ensuring that we live in a peaceful world. And therefore, it would have been very important, it would have been preferable that, of course, women dominate, if you so wish, or you ensure that there's parity in terms of representation at this conference. However, the flip side of that is that really the issue of women or of gender equality and gender mainstreaming cannot be left to women alone. I believe this is a matter which men and women should take a lead on, both side by side. We should take a lead in ensuring that we engage on these matters, we educate our people, we empower our young people, particularly boys and girls. So I think that the fact that there weren't as many women should not be something that depresses us, but rather say that actually this session was a learning curve for many.
We also briefly discussed the inspiration behind IPU's call for the end to Russia's occupation of Ukraine and the resolution adopted.
Because now that you're raising the issue of Ukraine and Russia and the conflict or the war which is currently raging in those two countries, you know, I think Rwanda, having had, with the history it has, perhaps was a very good venue for hosting of this specific session of the IPU, because I believe where there is conflict, where there is war, you need to find some calm and tranquility, a moment of reflection, and learn from the experiences of the country you are in. I hope that the people of Ukraine, the delegation, and the delegation of Russia, whatever the nature of the conflict and the tension, that they will take a leaf from the experiences of the people of Rwanda, that actually war kills and destroys life. I believe that we've covered a lot of ground, because in the interactions with both groups, there's willingness to engage in a dialogue with the task force itself. There's willingness to engage together through the task force, because clearly they are not necessarily ready to sit together around the table. And the one group which indicated keenness to go to the table was proposed that it would be good to have a trilateral arrangement where this task force is the one that assumes the responsibility of bringing them together and start. We walk baby steps, we take baby steps just to see what it is that we can achieve out of that. Now, the one thing which all of us should, I believe the IPU should take credit for, is the establishment of that task force, one. Two, the fact that this is the one and only body for now which commands and has earned the respect of both groups. And therefore there is confidence, and we're trying to build trust between the two groups. There is confidence that with the work which we have begun, there is a bright future. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Special thanks to South Africa's Speaker of Parliament, who took out time out of her day to join me earlier for that conversation. You're still watching RTV News. Moving on, experts in artificial intelligence believe that combined efforts of stakeholders would go a long way in finding the solutions to societal problems. Betty Motoni now reports.
African Center of Excellence in Internet of Things held a meeting on Friday with a mission to educate and train African researchers in the field of Internet who will develop and deploy innovative Internet of Things-enabled services to address development challenges across all East and South African countries' high-priority domains. Dr. Inyas Gatare, the principal of UR College of Science and Technology, stresses that as a research university, it is worth working with the various companies that use the latest technology that the research done in the university is implemented.
When you place those sensors, small objects, things, and they are interconnected through internet, you can collect data. And that data can support you to make a decision. Either be to control your fridge, you can be in your office and monitor the temperature, control it remotely. You can be a nurse at home and monitor the patient's healthcare conditions. You can be in the industry and know the temperature without being present. So the objects are everywhere, they are interconnected, they are generating data. Through those data, you have efficiency. So the value addition is better control of things, better control of systems, and at the end, there is an economic gain because you have time management, which is better, but also smart, so everything becomes smart.
Companies that operate and use advanced technology have shown that they are ready to work with the university to make sure that research students can be able to implement what they learned from the university.
We have started a Sanitech hub where we take a young people from university, from secondary school during internship period to help them to see and to work on innovation and development, because we have seen when a people or someone is a student, he or she have a period to think on his or her dream. Many organizations take people because they have innovation, but we have many institutions and companies that develop those people to create innovation.
The discussion was attended by companies that work and trade in integrated technology, universities that teach technology, professors and technology researchers. African Center of Excellence in the Internet of Things is one of the 4 African Center of Excellence that was established in 2016 and teaches various science courses at the level of PhDs in the comprehensive project funded by World Bank. Betty Mutoni, RwandaTV News.
That's all we had for you today. Thank you so much for choosing RwandaTV News. Stay with us.